Welcome, Larissa, and thank you for inviting me into the show. Welcome everyone who listens and wants to take part in it. You know, we want to do a raw vegan lasagna tonight. And before we start, I wanted to show what we will need. Like we'll need a dish, some kind of dish, where we put the lasagna in then. We will need some tools, something to make slices, the zucchini slices. You could do with something like that, like a mandolin, or you do it with a peeler. There are peelers which are broader, and so you could peel it down. Or what I have got now from the company itself, from Betty Bossi, this is a slicer, a vegetable slicer. And you will then see how it does it, how it does the job. So what else do we need if we want to make a layer with grated, like sweet potato, or I have here beetroot from my garden. I want to try this, and we grate it. We can make layers with baby spinach, so there we wouldn't need a tool for. And certainly we need knives. And so I have here a knife sharpener. Maybe you have seen this or you have it at home, a knife sharpener. And chefs do it usually before they start the work, that they sharpen the knives. So you just press down on that stick and you sharpen it. And then you go over it to take off excess dust. Thank you. So, this is the tools. And then we have ingredients we need. The zucchinis for the sheets. And then 2 more sauces. We have one sauce, a cheesy sauce, where we will use the soaked almonds. They are drained already. And some celery stalks. We'll need a garlic and half a lemon for juice. And here I have lovage. I hope you can see this. This is a small leafy herb here. I have in the garden. It grows here everywhere. And in every garden nearly it's there. And in German it's called Magikraut as well. That is a spice for flavoring the food. And so it tastes nearly the same. If you don't have this, just take parsley or cilantro or whatever you would like to make it a bit more tasty. This is our cheesy sauce. Then we have another sauce. We'll need the tomato sauce. And therefore, we need the tomatoes, and I have here cherry tomatoes. As you can see, they are well flavored and sweet. I have dried tomatoes. We will use this for the sauce. And we will use 1 stick of spring onion. And we'll need some chia seeds. The chia seeds is the only ingredients we won't put in the blender. So we set it a little bit apart so that it wouldn't go with it. What we will put in the blender as well is some dried herbs, like the marjoram, and here I have basil dried basil as well. And the fresh herbs. So oregano and basil leaves. This will go then in the blender. We will start first with our sheets, and therefore we need to peel our zucchinis. So we cut the ends off and peel them. You take whatever peeler you have, and like most, to have the job done. Some are a bit easier to peel and others aren't. And they get quite sticky, the zucchini. Every now and then you find very sticky ones, so they might not be so handy, and you might slip off it. But with a good peeler, it's not a bad thing or not a long thing to do. So, and for one person, it's not so much work. I have done the lasagna for 3 persons. It takes a bit longer. So, well, I hope you can follow and are ready for the slicing. When I do this with, oh wait, I can show you first. When you do it with your mandolin, you can just go down all the way of the zucchini. Maybe do it that way. This is one way of doing it, but you never get slices broader than that. Yeah, you can have zucchini slices like that with a mandolin. We try it now with our new tool. It's fairly simple. You take out that holding piece, and for being able to put it into sheets, you have to cut it in halves. And you put them first. You take off, I have taken it off already. There is
the protecting piece. Yeah, protection.
Little thing which would, protecting, would protect the blade, the sharp blade. So you have to take this off first, open it up, and then you take your zucchini piece and try to go through it about in the middle. So you have it then on that tool, prop it on, well, so that it would hold it. And with that button here, it goes down, and you can start, oh, it's not hold, not quite on it. Now, so you can do the job. You see what comes out, which is quite nice. I just go on to the very end, and then I can cut them. You see what comes out? Nice sheets. We open up again, take off the knobs and pull out. And so this we can use then for our cheesy sauce. We go on with the next one. And when you have, yes, about 2 medium-sized zucchini, then this will be the right amount for that lasagna, for the dish. So we go on, second round. Let's do some slicing. At the beginning, it sometimes needs a lead. Some zucchinis are a bit bent, so it might be a bit difficult at the beginning, but then the sheets come. I think it's a fine tool. It's working well for the job. So when it turns empty, then you stop it. You see? So.
I tested and it helps when your zucchinis are thick and long. I took my biggest zucchini, cut it in half, and I was able to fit it on. And when it's really thick and heavy, it really makes beautiful long clean slices.
Yes, I can imagine.
You kind of have to select your zucchinis based on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do noodles, I select them much thinner. When I'm trying to do sheets, they have to be thicker, but still young and soft so they can cut nicely.
How are the others doing? I guess most people won't have that kind of tool. So hopefully you can follow with the slicing. There are 2 more to go. So you could make other slices, like from sweet potatoes, from beetroot, carrots, whatever.
Eggplant.
Celeriac maybe. What did you say?
Aubergine. Eggplant.
Oh, yes, aubergine.
Eggplant, wow.
I have done the sweet potato. So you see, you see the slices you can do here too. Sheets. Yeah, it depends how big they are. But it's quite interesting to have then sheets laid out. Also for different carpaccios would be a good idea to do it with that tool. So I have 1 more to go. Let's see if we get it into the middle. Well, yeah, I have taken this for the first presentation with a mandolin, so it is not as round as it should be. And now it turns empty. Maybe this was the thing. Yes. So it's finished. And as I said, these ends we will then use with the sauce, with the cheesy sauce. So, I'm putting my sheets in a bowl to have everything ready for the layering later. And I might even use some of the sweet potato sheets as well. So makes a nice difference. Are you ready to go on?
Yes, I'm ready. Anybody else?
Okay. So we will start with the cheesy sauce. And we take all the ingredients for that. Again, the almonds. Then the celery stalks. We take the zucchini, little bits which stayed behind. And some herb we want to use for the sauce here, for the cheesy sauce and the garlic. And so here we need to prepare the garlic first and peel it. Just take the skin off. And with a knife, it's an easy job. Just start at the very end, the bottom end, and peel it down. Usually young garlic is very easy to peel. So it depends how much you like the garlic, how much you will take then. I take a good size garlic. And I use for these sauces my German blender, which is a bit different than the Vitamix. This is a Thermomix, so it would even warm it up. In that sense, we won't use this now. Put the almonds in. The zucchini bits and the garlic, the herbs, and the celery stalks. And the celery stalks we have to cut in pieces so that the mixer, the blender, can do the job better. Okay. We also need the lemon. So half a good sized lemon is about what we need for a cheesy sauce. So something is cheesy in taste when you have something salty with it and something sour, so like the lemon, and then some taste which makes it cheesy. So a herb like the lovage is quite fine, or maybe the cilantro. I'm not so good with the cilantro, but many people like it too, so maybe it does a job for them. So for now it will get loud. here you might need to push it a bit down with a good tool, as we do not want to use more water, and so it might be necessary to push everything down the sides of the blender and do another go of blending. So maybe we start with a lower speed. So what we want here is a creamy consistency. So here it should really be fine. Blend it well. You see? So we get a cream. It already smells very good. This is the garlic. When you make a lasagna, and it doesn't depend on if it's raw or not, any kind of lasagna, you would need to taste the sauces and make sure that the sauces really taste well. Then the food will be fine. The dish will be really good. When the sauces aren't good in themselves, then the dish can't get good at the end. So we'll have a go in tasting what we have here. Very good. It needs a little bit of taste with yours, maybe you go on putting a bit more of herbs in, but not too many different ones. Maybe just one or maybe two. Dill would be another option to use for a cheesy sauce. We want to have this saved for the layering then in a separate dish. We will need the blender again for the second sauce, so that's why we clean it a bit out. But we do not need to wash it, as the sauces will mix then anyway in the dish as well. But we try to get most of it out to have two different sauces. It shows also in the layers, in the colors, and in the tastes. Okay, with the sauce?
Really delicious, Gabrielle.
Yeah, did you taste yours?
I did. I love it.
And you liked it, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So, we prepare everything we need then and take away what we don't need anymore. Are you prepared to do the second sauce then?
Yes.
The tomatoes, and I won't cut them up. I put them just in the blender as they are. I have washed them. If you have bigger tomatoes, you might want to take them, make a few pieces, but I don't do that with mine now. And I take the dried tomatoes, throw them in. And the spring onion will have to cut up a bit. It's better for the blender. And we have smaller sticks here. Smaller pieces. It will mingle quicker. Okay. Next thing is all our herbs. And here we want to take a lot of herbs as they make a good taste. We have the oregano, it's like a handful of fresh oregano. What I like very much is also the marjoram. If you have fresh marjoram, this is wonderful. Then I have a handful of the basil, the fresh basil. Put that in. And then we want some of the dried herbs. Well, we want about a teaspoon full of the dried herbs. I have here basil and the marjoram. And I find, as I don't use the pepper at all since 40 years, because it's irritating the stomach, I find that the basil really has something peppery, but it's only the dried basil. And here I have the marjoram, 1 teaspoon. But you can take certainly as much as you like, or also different ones. Please do not take the chia seeds yet into the blender, because when they are blended up, then they won't thicken this much anymore. And we want them later then to take away the excess fluid. So we go on blending. This sauce, the tomato sauce, doesn't need to be so fine. You even could have it quite coarse. But what we need to do is to taste it again. So, and maybe before we take it out the blender, maybe we want to add something or change something. So have a try. It's very good. If you have tomatoes which are not so sweet and more watery, you might want to use part of a mango as well with that sauce. But if they are really nice sweet cherry tomatoes, then it's fine to just do it like that. This is the case with me here. I take as they are, take that sauce as it is now. It's really tasty because the herbs have done a good job. So I take it out. Oh, this is the wrong dish now. I take it out in that bowl or plate. And then once it's all out, we take our chia seeds and mingle them in. Mix them a bit in. So we want to get everything, not to lose anything of that good stuff here. So here I have some more. Okay. You see how much liquid has formed already? So now I take this chia seeds and we have here 2 tablespoons for this amount. Maybe we want to mix it in. Here have I got the other part. Okay. So, and the chia seed take up a big part of all that extra fluid. And that helps. That zucchini lasagna will anyway make some extra fluid after a while. And so it's good to have it here bound up a bit. But that dish is a good dish, which you can make the day ahead even. And maybe you have guests the next day and you don't have so much time to prepare it immediately before they come. Then you could prepare it ahead. A day ahead, put it in the fridge and take it out the next day and warm it a little bit in the oven with 40 degrees or 50 and leave the door open. Then you have a nice, even warm, raw food lasagna. And it's really tasty. I had tried it out on 2 different sets of guests and they all loved it. So we have the next ingredient prepared. Are you ready with the tomato sauce? Finished with the tomato sauce? And is it good?
It's really
Larry?
good. Yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Mine is done.
Did you try it?
I like it. I really like it.
Fine. Fine, fine. If we want to make different layers, like we could just do raw lasagna with sheets and then change tomato sauce and cheese sauce with every layer and go on with the sheets. But if we want to make it a bit different, then we can do a layer with the baby spinach, for example, or with the sweet potato, or as I have here today is the beetroot. So we grate what we want, put in the next or in one of the layers. The fine grating makes some work, but it tastes then better than if you have it too coarse. So we go on a bit. That should do. You see my beetroot makes a nice color. So this shows then up in the layers. So I want to clean my hands first. Okay, we have everything what we need for layers. I have here some mushrooms. You could even put mushrooms in as an in-between layer. Or whatever you have at home and you want to use. Putting everything aside we don't need. And taking what we need together. We need a spoon or something like that for our sauces to spoon them then out. And the tomato sauce with the chia seeds, it's good to turn them a little bit round, mix them in again so that the liquid wouldn't separate so easy. For the cheese sauce we need that too, and here too might be some of liquid, of extra liquid. Just mix it in again. So, ready so far? And then we take our zucchini sheets and everything we want to put in the layers. before we start putting anything in the dish, we start with some of the tomato sauce so that the zucchini sheets wouldn't be on that floor, on the bottom of the dish, so that there is already some taste, something to stick on to. So you take a little bit of the tomato sauce. You will see we will divide it up then for the layers. You don't need to cover all the bottom. You see there are still holes, but just to have it more or less evenly spread out. Then we'll start with layers of the sheets, of the zucchini sheets. I cut like here. We go on. Do you see that?
Yes. So we just basically covering the bottom, right? One layer.
Yes, just one layer. If you have holes, you can find little bits and pieces to fill in the holes. So, and when on some spots the layer is very thin, you might want to put another on top, or another thin one. Because when the layers are very thin, the sheets are very thin of the zucchini, then it will, then in taste, when you want to eat it, then the taste will be quite mushy. You don't have anything to bite on. This is what we want to avoid. When we have this covered the bottom layer, we take more of the tomato sauce and spread it out. Again. And here too, do not take and make it too thick. Just cover it up so that it's evenly spread out on the whole area. And if we do it about like this, there will be enough sauce for all the layers with that recipe. We go on, put on top here the cheese sauce. And there too, spread it out with spoons. It's very well possible to do it easily. And you just take how much you need to spread it all over that area. So, like that. It can be a bit see-through, so that you might see some spots where the tomato sauce can be seen, but that's fine. We go on with our zucchini sheets. Make another nice layer of the zucchini, the noodle sheets. And as I said, when they are thin, and you might want to cover it with another one. fill in all the gaps which might come up. Okay, this is then the next layer. And for now, as we have something to put in between, I now take my beetroot, my grated beetroot, and spread this out. And we need everything here. If you do not have two different things to do between the layers, then you could just take your spinach as well, whereas I will do the spinach then later. Oh, it needs some time, huh? It does. So we should be finished by now.
Really well. Just relax. We all want to see you finish.
Yeah.
That is so much fun, Gabriela. We don't want to end it. I love stuck in my layers.
You're doing just fine. And nobody's going faster than you, so.
And lasagna always takes its time. It doesn't matter what ingredients you have and if it's cooked or not. This layering takes some time. So if you want to, especially if it's something which is not so juicy, my beetroot is quite juicy, you might want to put some of the sauce on it. Here, maybe just the cheese or both. You can decide what you want on it. I will just take some of the cheese here to make this then tasty as well. So go on with the next layer. Maybe I make it a bit faster then. Now we know what we're doing. So okay, and we start all over with the tomato sauce and spread it out. And as I have two different things to put in between, so I will already go for the spinach this time as well as with the sauces. And the spinach.
Gabriele, this is just fresh spinach, or have you wilted this spinach a little bit?
I haven't. I have just the fresh one.
Okay, fresh is fine.
It as well. Sure. I will cut it up a bit. It depends how big the leaves are. This is baby spinach, so they aren't this big. But I think it is quite okay to just cut over it once or twice. I don't want it to do it too much ahead of time, as it might get, or it wilt more. I don't know. So I just have it like that. And it makes a nice green layer when you cut the lasagna then. So we go on with another layer on top. I might use even this one now. The sweet potato, another colorful thing here. So you can play around. It's so wonderful with that nice raw food. You can play around what you like. You just take your tastes, your herbs. So this doesn't want to stay down. Another layer, and it might be the last one to cover then. So please make sure that you take for this layer about half of what is left of the tomato sauce, so that you would have some more for on top. And it should be about the right amount. So it's good to get right to the edges with the sauces so that the sheets wouldn't be naked there without the sauce. Okay. And also with our cheese sauce, we take about half what we still have to have the other half for the very top. Okay. Are you ready so far? Might use a bit more.
I'm still layering. I have some more zucchinis, and I have a big party here, so I will make a big lasagna.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have more than that, Larissa? I have here one more layer to go about, but I have a bit more as I have the sweet potato as well. But usually, nearly every time I made the lasagna, it was quite the right amount so that everything was used up.
Great job.
Here I have them too long. Another one. And it doesn't matter at the end then if they are in that direction or this direction. So just go on, do it as you feel like doing. Okay, so that's finished. So again, we take the tomato sauce first. You might maybe not have this much anymore, or even more than needed. Just see how it goes. Maybe you have to turn the dish every now and then for the spreading of the sauce. Okay, that's that. And the rest of the cheese. I guess you're as busy as I am doing and finishing our lasagna. So now it depends how much is still left. I don't have this much anymore, but it's okay. And especially that last layer, it's nice to mingle the two sauces a bit so that we don't have the view just of a white layer of a white sauce on top, but even have it a bit colored by the tomato sauce. Okay. And so you go over it and make it smooth so that it would look nice. And maybe you have something to garnish it. I have here some tomatoes. This is a bigger tomatoes here. And I will do you could do, for example, mark the pieces so I have cut myself here, which is not good. But we are in the last bit of doing it, so doesn't matter.
Oh, it matters. So now you've determined the size of the servings.
Yes.
Very smart. This is most people don't do this at the top, and then they have no idea how big a slice to make.
Yes, and it's not so, it looks nicer to have when you have one piece cut up, that you have something to look at, yeah? From the color, from...
Completely.
Yeah. So... Yeah.
Well, we asked everybody if they enjoyed the show, Gabriele. I just want you to know that not only did you get 100% yeses, everyone enjoyed the show, but at least 3 or 4 of our guests have invited you back.
So thank you.
You will consider coming back. Sarah's excited to see you again.
Okay, we will see.
Fantastic. Really, really well done from start to finish. We won't even mention the cut myself part.
And have it like that about. So, or do it somehow, and then later on you could just cut it here, and so you have your pieces. And as I said, you can warm it up, and then it tastes even more a bit like a good warm dish.
Sure.
I hope you can enjoy it and that it tastes really well for you.
Thank you so very, very much. It was a real treat to have you with us. And I, too, extend my thought that I do hope you'll come again.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it that much.
Gabriele, that was so much fun. I just got carried away doing those beautiful, beautiful layers. And guys, we'll post the pictures and you'll see. It just, I can't, my dish is so heavy. I'm just afraid to put it up. But I'll definitely take tons of pictures and we'll share it with you. And that was so much fun. Gabriele, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really, really enjoyed it. And it's such a savory and festive and has all kind of complexity and colors. Yeah, it was really great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.